Hi, I'm Kathy Kellenberger with Pragmatic Works, and window functions is a tool that we use. So for example, in my area, this is, get the slide to advance. In my area, this is what it looked like as I looked out the window on Sunday. And being human, we have tools at our disposal to take care of problems like this. For example, we have brooms, we have shovels, we have snow blowers, we have plows. So this is how we dealt with it at our house. We have this nice tool that we used to clear out the driveway, even though we hadn't planned to leave the house for a couple days. And you know, whenever my husband got this shiny new tractor, he couldn't just get on it and know everything about it. He had to spend some time understanding the best way to use it, to see if some older implements that he had would fit on there. That rusty yellow thing on the back actually hooked right up to his new tractor. But he had to spend some time understanding how to best use this tool. He couldn't just get on there and just go. Well, he probably did. He's a guy. He probably didn't look at the manual that close at first, but he had to learn how to use it most effectively. T-SQL is no different, and especially the window functions. We've been using window functions for a few years, at least many of us have, and if you're not familiar with what the window functions are, I have another webinar coming up in a month that talks just from the beginning what they are, and I've also done that session before, so there is a recording from a few months ago when I gave it as well. So we've been using these window functions, but we may not have had enough information to use them effectively. So what I'm going to talk about today is just give a very brief overview of what they are. They're nothing to do with the window operating system. And then by the end of this session, you are going to know the secret of how to tune your queries that include window functions. And if you call now, before this webinar is over, for the same price, I will give you not one, but 2 secrets. So stay tuned to learn more. So what are window functions? As I mentioned, they are nothing to do with the Windows operating system. It's standard functionality. This is part of the ANSI standard that was added to T-SQL in 2005, and then some more added in 2012. You'll always see an over clause when the window functions are used. That's not 100% guarantee that you're looking at a window function. But if you have a window function, you always have an over clause. And that over clause defines the actual rows or set of rows that the function operates on. Okay, so we can have a window that's the entire result set, or we can break that down into partitions, and then starting with 2012 we can get even more granular with framing. And again, if this doesn't sound familiar to you, stay tuned today, but then go ahead and review the previous video that I did that did a real deep dive into what these are. They're always found in the select and order by clauses. That's the only place you can use them. And the benefit, probably, I don't know what the biggest benefit is, but the really cool benefit to me is that they make queries easier to write. Some complex problems to solve using window functions make those queries easier to write, less code, easier to read, easier to maintain, but you also get better performance, well, most of the time. There's one situation, there's one particular type of window function that you don't get better performance. The older ways are actually better performing, and even if you use the components or the functions that do give you better performance, if you don't know the way to get performance, if you don't know what's going on under the covers or how to get that better performance, you won't. You might get the same or worse. So that's what we're going to talk about today. In 2005, we were given the ranking functions, row number, rank, dense rank, and Untile, and many of you are using row number and may not even know that it's a window function. I didn't even know, really had been familiar with this term until a couple of years ago, and I've been using row numbers since it came out, and I love it. A lot of times if I don't know how to solve a problem, I just add row number to it and just start looking for a pattern. In 2005, we also received window aggregates, which is a way to add summing information without an aggregate query. So in other words, we can aggregate over this little window of rows and add that to our detailed data. In 2012 is the next time that we had any updates to this, and in 2012 we received framing, which allows us to even more granularly define our window, and we were given the order by clause for Windows aggregates. So this allows us to get a running total or accumulation of numbers. We were also given, I can't remember if it's 8 or 10 analytic functions. There's no plans that I have heard of to do anything with these in 2014, which is really sad. No enhancements, no new features. We're stuck at the same point. So hopefully in the future we will have other functionality added to this, because there is more functionality that could be added, and also more things to maybe enhance it or get even better performance. So first, let's think about execution plans. What are we looking for in the execution plans? These are two new operators that you'll see, and there's nothing bad about these operators. Don't freak out when you see them. This tells us that the window functions are doing their jobs. The first one is the sequence project operator, and that operator just says that this calculation is being done. Okay, and also a segment operator. A segment operator you'll see whenever there's partitioning. So in my over clause, if I have partition by, then we'll see this segment operator. And basically it's doing kind of what it says. It's segmenting this data into the partition so this calculation can be made.